Hi everyone. So I'm here today with my sister. Say hi.
Hi.
And basically what we want to do is talk about our paranormal experiences because we both kind of seem to be a little bit in tune to something weird. We've both had weird experiences. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of share that and see if any of you have any thoughts on it, or if any of you have ever had similar experiences and what you think about it. Um, so I'm going to start with my experience, I suppose, or do you want to start with yours? Okay. Um, well, my main thing really is that I'll always get eerie feelings. Like sometimes I'll be afraid to be in a room, but for no apparent reason. Like when I was in Las Vegas, I was staying, oh no, it was Washington, sorry, I was staying in a room, and for some reason that I could not be in the room by myself because it would just give me like the worst feeling of dread, and I just had horrible feelings in there. And it was actually in a nursing home, well, a retirement community, because my boyfriend's mom lives there, so we were staying with her, and so I don't know, I couldn't be in the room by myself. I'd have to like run out and follow my boyfriend wherever he went. But I was thinking, I mean, it's a retirement community, so people probably died there at some stage. And actually, one night I was in there, and my boyfriend was out in the other room with his cousin, and they were just hanging out. And I thought I felt him come in and put his arm around me, and then he started squeezing and pressing down on me, and then it was gone, and there was no one there. So I don't know what that was, but it really freaked me out. I don't know if it was all in my head or if I was half asleep or what, but this wasn't the start of why I was feeling so horrible in this room. Like I couldn't be in there at all. I always felt like someone was watching me. So that was like the most strong feeling I had, where I felt like I shouldn't be in a place or something. Okay, you want to tell any one of your paranormal experiences?
Okay, so my room, I'm convinced my room is haunted. Same as Aileen, I get a really, really bad vibe in my room and I sleep with the lamp on every single night. Like I can't stay in my room in the dark because it really freaks me out. But
She has stronger ones than me, I think.
yeah, I think I've really strong intuition because I'm like, it's not just in my room. If I stay in my boyfriend's house or if we go to a hotel for the weekend, I just feel like somebody's watching me constantly.
That's how I think as well. That, yeah.
It's just really freaky. And I wake up every single night at the same time, and I'm afraid to check the time on my phone because I know what time it is before I even check. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, so I wake up every time at 3 o'clock in the morning on the dot. So like that really freaks me out, and if any of you have any ideas about that, like just let me know because I kind of like some answers. But last night was kind of one of the worst nights that I've had in ages because I fell asleep early and then I woke up about 1 o'clock because there was a bang in my room, a really loud bang, and it sounded like it was behind me, behind my bed, like, and all that's behind my bed is a wall, so it couldn't have been anything, but it sounded like something moving. So I tried to fall back to sleep, and it was like every time I closed my eyes, like I wasn't falling asleep, but every time I closed my eyes there was another bang, as if something wouldn't let me go to sleep. And I know this sounds weird, but that's what it felt like. And I closed my eyes and then there was another bang, and then it sounded like it was coming from under my bed, like a box being moved under my bed or something. So then I don't know, like then a few minutes later I was falling asleep again. Well, I wasn't falling asleep, my eyes were closed and I was just pretending it wasn't happening. And then, is it still right?
Yeah, no, it's not.
I'm sorry. But then it happened again, and it sounded like there were boxes being moved or something under my bed. And then I checked under my bed, and there was nothing there. And then it started with the light, like I have this plastic light, the shade of my light like is plastic, and then that started crackling, and it was like every time I closed my eyes, if I kept my eyes open, nothing would happen. And then if I closed my eyes or started to relax, something would happen again. Just things being moved in the room, loud noises, and they're so loud that I actually couldn't go to sleep. And I was so terrified because I was convinced there was something in the room, and I was so terrified I felt like I was going to throw up, like I was afraid to move, and I didn't get to sleep. It eased off then when daylight started coming through the windows, like.
So you didn't actually get to sleep?
I didn't get to sleep until 7 or half 7 in the morning once it was bright, because it eased off once there was daylight. It's not funny, Aileen's laughing at me.
No, I'm just giddy.
When sisters get together, we just get giddy, even though it's a serious subject, because I was crying. I was so afraid of the ghost.
I'm sorry if this video isn't very relaxing, but I just thought I wanted to try something different and see, because I've seen like a few of the people I'm subscribed to on YouTube, not necessarily whispers, but just in general, a few of them talk about their paranormal experiences, and I'm always interested. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm sorry if it's not very relaxing.
As well, it's because I really wanted to know if anybody else has any similar experiences, because it's got to the point where it's actually scaring me. Like, I'm afraid I don't sleep. This is Catherine, by the way. But in case you get mixed up between our voices.
We probably sound the same.
We probably sound the exact same.
Yeah.
But I'm the one who's the ghost in my room.
Yeah.
Aileen's the one with the...
They didn't actually know my name until you started doing that. I'm just Ember Darius now. I don't really care if they know my name though.
Her name is Aileen.
My name is Aileen. That wasn't common knowledge until it, but now it is. So,
Okay.
There you go.
I've
had.
Go on, interrupt me. She's getting
We started talking at the same time. No, but I've had weird things as well where I know there's this thing called sleep paralysis, so maybe that's part of it, but I always feel like something's pushing down on my legs or something. But I know that's apparently sleep paralysis, but then again, who's to say what sleep paralysis is? But I kind of get these things where like I was asleep one night and I kind of woke up in the morning and I kind of sleep with my hands folded across my chest, and my hand, like, okay, I know it's going to sound absolutely mental, but my hand started like moving, but it was really jerky, you know, but I wasn't moving my hand, and it was just like slowly moving up to my neck, and like my hand just like grasped my neck. It was really weak, like there was no strength in my hand, it wasn't squeezing, it was just like it placed itself on my neck, but I didn't put it there. I didn't have any control over it. So that was really creepy, because I think there might be some, I don't know, maybe there's something in my room as well, because, or maybe it comes from your room into my room through the wardrobe.
Or maybe it comes from your room into my room.
No, because it comes out of the wardrobe towards me.
It's not in my room.
I
don't want it to be in my room.
This whole thing is about how it's in your room. But I often see I wake up and I see a figure coming out of my wardrobe towards me in bed, and I always like run screaming from my room because it really freaks me out and terrifies me.
And she thought it looked like me one time as well.
Yeah, that was kind of a different experience though, because like usually I just see some, I can't even tell if it's like, I mean I think it's a man, but it's weird. It just like starts walking towards my bed with its arms out and I come out of my wardrobe. But this time, my sister had just broken up with her boyfriend, and we
That
were.
was so irrelevant to the story.
No, it's not irrelevant. It's relevant because we were up all night, and like, you know, I was comforting you, and you were kind of crying and stuff. So, I mean, we didn't get to bed until like 3:30 in the morning or something. So it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I saw her walk into my room again, and like, I was thinking, oh, for God's sake, again, we were just up all night. And then I kind of turned over to tell her to see if she was okay. But this kind of all happened in a split second. Like, I had all these thoughts in the space of a second. Like, in the time it took me to turn my head, I kind of went through this train of thought. Like, but I looked over and it looked like her. But it was when I saw the figure, it wasn't her. It looked like her, but it was smaller. It's weird. It kind of looked like it was far away, even though it wasn't. It was in front of my wardrobe, which is like right next to my bed, probably like 2 feet away from my bed. And but it looked like it was much further away than that. But it was like a young girl. She had her hair up, and I won't say it was like Victorian clothing, but I don't know what it was. It wasn't any kind of clothing that we would wear now. It was some sort of a long dress. I don't think it was that glamorous or anything, but it definitely wasn't from our era.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see her face, but she just had her arm out, and she was like beckoning me towards her, and like it scared me so much. But it was like, she didn't look like see-through or anything, but she looked like there was a grey hue over her. Like, she didn't look completely solid, but at the same time, she didn't look like Casper the Friendly Ghost or anything. But yeah, it really creeped me out, and I like started screaming, and then my sister actually ran in.
Yeah, we ran into you and you were on your laptop with the light on and basically.
Yeah, I that's the thing, like, I wasn't even asleep. Like, I had my laptop on. I was looking at my laptop, and then I saw the figure like in my lateral vision. It wasn't like I was in a dream and I woke up. Like, I actually saw this thing. But from what I can remember, I just couldn't stop screaming. Is that right?
Sure, that happened to me as well. Like, she was away for the summer and we moved into her room just for a change of scenery. But one night the same thing happened to me. Nothing happened for weeks, and I was on the laptop with the light on one night as well, and then I just found myself screaming, and my dad came in and was shaking me to calm me down, and I had seen something come out of the wardrobe as well, but to me it looked more like a hand or something just coming straight towards me. But it all happened so fast. It happens in, like you said, in a split second. And then you just find yourself screaming because it's so terrifying, but you almost convince yourself that it didn't happen. Yeah. At the same time, you remember the fear and you know that it did. And I think that's what happens to me as well in my room every night. And it's every night, like, there's always sounds in my room. I'll wake up to a bang in my room or something moving. Every night. And it just, when it keeps you awake or when it wakes you up out of a deep sleep, you know that you're not imagining it. And then I just wondering if anybody knows how to ward off spirits or kind of witchcraft now or anything, because I don't want to attract anything else.
Yeah, we're not cray-cray.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Cray-cray.
That was not fun. But just if anybody knows of any kind of, like, I heard something about sage or lavender oil or something, but if anybody knows how to ward off spirits or anything, or if you've had any similar experiences, just please do comment underneath the video, because it's gone to the point where I don't even want to stay in my room anymore. So
can I just interrupt and say though that we're not like these people were like, we don't even really know if we believe in what we're seeing
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, I never believed in ghosts or anything.
Yeah.
It's just, and like, I don't know, if someone asked me, I'd probably say no, I don't. But
But then you can't explain.
there's some things that have happened and you just can't explain them away. So it's like, I don't know, like, I would probably sound like completely crazy, but I don't know, like, we're just kind of wondering if people actually experience this, like actually genuinely experience it, and not like in their heads are just making stuff up or whatever.
Because we know that, like I know there are certain noises in the house and they're settling noises or they're just normal noises. I know that. Like there are certain sounds in my room and I think, okay, that's just the floorboards or something. But then there are other noises that are right next to my head or under my bed, or just things that are not possible. And like before you say, is it a mouse or something? No, we don't do mice. You know, like I've thought of every logical explanation, honestly. And like we said, we're not one of these people who goes around ghost hunting or anything. We don't really kind of even believe in it. But then, how can you avoid having the same experiences every single night? And when it keeps you awake or wakes you up or it repeatedly happens, then you kind of feel like it has to be something. And I feel like it's not even in the house, because like I said, if I go to hotels or I go to my boyfriend's house, like I forgot to tell you this actually, I stayed in my boyfriend's house one night and in his sleep he started talking a completely, like he was talking Turkish, and it was really freaky.
Not literally Turkish, it sounded like Turkish.
It sounded like Turkish or just some different language, like it sounded, and it was really deep and his head was jerked to the side and I started screaming and I turned down the light, and then he was just lying down asleep and he looked at me and he didn't know what I was talking about. So we set up this voice recorder on his phone because he wouldn't believe me that he was talking in his sleep, and he was saying things that he doesn't speak any other language except English and Irish. But it was really strange. And then the following night he started pointing at the ceiling and talking about a duvet, and I've never ever heard him use the word duvet. And even he said to me, there's no way I said the word duvet, I just say the word blanket, I don't call it a duvet. And I said, you were. And it's just one example. He was just talking like he was from a different time or something. So then we set up the voice recorder after that, but then it didn't pick up anything except doors opening and closing, kind of bangs.
I actually remember this one thing, and everyone laughs at me when I talk about it, but we have this medicine over here, it's called Andrews, and it
sounds so stupid.
Andrews. But
Andrews.
it's like a powder stuff you put into water and it dissolves and then you drink it, and it's for like an upset stomach. But anyway, on the top of this, like the carton, there was a really light plastic lid, and it was one of the ones that it flaps up and flaps back down. But when I say light, I mean it was a few grams in weight. Like it was one of these really, really light ones. And I was down in the kitchen. This was like years and years ago now. And I was making tea, and the Andrews was like on the other counter. Like the way our kitchen is laid out, the counter is kind of like a 90-degree angle. You know, there's a counter along one wall and then there's a longer counter along the other wall. So I was making tea against the smaller one, and the Andrews was on the long counter, and I had my back turned to it, and I felt something hitting the back of my leg, and I looked around and the top of the Andrews was on the floor next to my leg, and it was something that it was so light that you would have had to have thrown it with force for me to have felt it. Like if it brushed against me, I probably wouldn't have felt it.
And there was no wind as well. You know,
there was no door open. There was no
really
window
warm.
open.
Yeah.
There was no wind at all. There was nothing open. I don't even think it was a windy day. And I thought that someone was after coming in. Someone in my family was after coming in and throwing it at me like as some sort of stupid joke. It wasn't even funny. Like, so I was like, why did they do that? But then I called out for them and they were all upstairs. And I know that's like, whenever I tell people that, it sounds so stupid, like the top of a medicine bottle, but like, if you had seen, or if any of you actually know Andrews, like, it's so light that for me to have felt it to turn around and see what had hit me, it would have had to have been thrown with force. So that's another little thing that happened to me. Oh, you remember actually when I heard the knocking on the window every night at the same time?
Out the back. And then I went into the shower and the light bulb.
Oh yeah.
I was screaming.
Okay, so were Mum and Dad gone? Away
Yeah,
or
they were
something?
going away to Rome or something.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so my mum and dad were gone away a couple of years ago on holidays, and every night I'd be down in the kitchen. I think it was like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or something, and I'd hear like a knock. Like, we have in the back of my house, we have like a glass patio door, and then we have like a window on the other side of the room. But I mean, the room isn't very big, so at the same time every night I would hear like knocking going along the window or the door from one end to the other, and then along the window, like it was going, like, from one side of the house to the other. And it was so loud that, I mean, my dad thought it was just some youngsters or something. But I don't know, was it 3 or 4 nights? The same thing happened, and it was me in the room every single time at the same time, and it was the exact same thing. And I know I wasn't hearing things because one of those nights my friend was actually in the room with me. She was up just visiting me for the night, and she heard it too at the same time.
And I heard it because I was upstairs at the same time in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time I heard the knocking downstairs, the light bulb blew in the bathroom while I was in the shower. So I just ran out screaming and grabbed a towel.
And I was screaming downstairs because I got such a fright that it was the knocking again.
And it was really weird and I was terrified as well because the back door, you had opened it to see if there was anybody there or something, and the back door was open.
Had I?
Yeah,
that doesn't sound like me.
It did. It was, or to let the dog in or something, because
I probably let the dog in. Yeah.
Because like I was so scared in case it was actually somebody, because they could have easily come in the back door, and I was terrified. But then there was nobody there. So it's basically all these little things that you can like probably explain some of them. Like we've tried to explain some of them.
But it's everything together is what is what the weird thing is. And I actually remember another weird thing, like there was last year there was a mouse in our attic, and he would come down from the attic and go into my bedroom, and I mean he would be on the curtains, like climbing up the curtains and trying to climb up in my bed and stuff. And my mom is like terrified. She has a phobia of mice. So like no one was allowed into my bedroom. My bedroom was completely blocked off, and well, that's kind of irrelevant, but I'm just explaining that I was sleeping downstairs in our front room, and I was just sleeping on a mattress. And I like every night when I was sleeping downstairs, I kind of felt eerie. But then one night I kind of woke up like really early in the morning, and I was like paralyzed to the bed. And I know this sounds really weird, but my tongue was like, it was like slithering or something. It was like moving, you know the way you put your hand in like a wave motion. That's kind of like what my tongue was doing, and it was moving out of my mouth, and I couldn't stop it. And it was really weird and scary, and I don't know how it happened. Like, I don't know, I often get that kind of feeling that my body is moving and I'm not moving it, and I can't stop it. It's like I'm paralyzed, but some part of my body is moving.
that never happens to me. Then it's more the
Yeah.
feeling that somebody's next to me or somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
But I think like last night as well, the dog is always downstairs in the kitchen, but she wakes up about the same time every night and she starts growling and barking. And we were kind of thinking at first like we kind of lock her into the kitchen because she goes into the living room and
She sheds a lot.
She sheds and she gets hair everywhere. So if anybody is calling to visit, they just have dog hair all over the clothes. Yeah. So we just lock her into the kitchen at night. We close the door and let her and leave her in the kitchen. But it's every night. Some nights she's barking and you know she wants to just go into the other room, and then when you go downstairs and let her into the other room, eventually she quietens down. But last night it was like that she was growling at something. She'd start growling and barking at it, and she wasn't scratching at the door to get out, or she wasn't barking loudly to get her attention. It was just like that she was barking away herself. But she does that a lot, and at the same time then you hadn't set your alarm at all. And I could hear this vibrating, and I thought it was on my floorboards.
No, because I know I said it a couple of nights ago, and it obviously just I never answered it.
Well, that's okay then. It was like everything happened at once last night, and I was just so scared. Well, see, like we can explain things. Like the alarm clock went off. She obviously set it wrong. There's an explanation for that. Sometimes when the dog barks, she's probably just barking to go into the other room. That's fine. But then other
the thing
times,
is, like sometimes
can't explain it.
I mean, something will just creep you out, but then other times, like you just can't explain it, and you can try and
you can't get rid of a feeling. Like if you're in your room or you're somewhere and you're absolutely terrified and you know that feeling when somebody's watching you, or there are noises that can't be explained, there are things moving and you can see them and there's nothing in the room, then how do you explain those things? And it's every night.
But I think because we both kind of are prone to anxiety and depression, it kind of runs in our family, and I know I've spoken about this before on videos, but we're both really prone to emotional problems, I suppose you'd say. But I don't know, is it the way that because we have such heightened emotions and intuition like that, maybe that's why we're so in tune to things, because I've like a lot of people that I've heard of that have experiences like this as well, will often like suffer from anxiety or depression or something along those lines, some sort of, not a mental disorder as such, but just some sort of an emotional imbalance kind of. But my nan actually, she kind of has a lot of intuition as well. Like my nan will always have dreams about things that will happen in the future. Oh, I never told you actually. My boyfriend, he was telling me that he had a dog for like 16 years, and he moved to California, and because the dog was really old and he was going to college and such, the dog moved to Hawaii with his parents. And one night he had a dream that like something really bad happened to the dog. I think it was something weird, like she fell down an elevator shaft or something like that. But he woke up and he like rang his dad, and he was like, "Is the dog okay?" And his dad was like, "Yeah, she's fine." But a couple of days later he got a phone call to say that later that day the dog had to go to the vet, and a couple of days later she died. So like, but like my nan has dreams like that as well, like really, yeah, intuitive dreams. I don't really have dreams. Like, why don't you tell about your dream?
Like my dream.
Why didn't you tell the audience?
I don't know, I had a dream, well, like just basic things like that. When my aunt was pregnant and just before she was due the baby, I had a dream that she had a baby girl. And then it happened to my other aunt, I had a dream that she had a baby girl, and they both did. Just those, I can't even remember because I have them so often. Like I always have dreams about things that are going to happen, and then they happen.
Yeah.
weeks later.
I remember like my nan as well, she has the same, like I think we got all this from my nan because she was telling me one time that she had a dream that she was in her bedroom and water started coming down the walls of the bedroom and like filling up the room. And then when she woke up, she just had like a bad feeling and she rang everyone. And she rang her son, and um, he had gotten a new car like the day previous, like the night that she had the dream. That day he'd bought a brand new car, and he left the windows open, and there was a storm, and the inside of the car got flooded. So I know that's not like that big of a deal, but
She had other ones. Like, do you remember she had a dream about somebody cycling and being
yeah, she
killed?
had a dream. She was saying that, from what I remember, she said that it was all blackness, and then she just saw someone on a motorbike crashing, just in the blackness. And then the next day, like on the road by where we live, there was like a huge accident and someone died on a motorbike. But she has a lot of dreams like that, you know.
And she only talks about them sometimes, but she kind of gets these dreams or bad feelings, and I think that's where I get it from. I think like I always get feelings, and
I never get dreams, but I get feelings. Like if I get a vibe on something, it always comes true. Like if I have a bad feeling about something or someone, like it'll always end up that something bad happens, or that person ends up not being a nice person. That's happened to me a lot. If I get a first impression of someone, it's not irrelevant.
but it's irrelevant to paranormal activity.
But no, I'm just saying like vibes and intuition, like, you know, I can always tell like if something is gonna go wrong or something. Like
I kind of feel like that too.
It's like if I feel like something's gonna be okay, it always is, even if everyone else is worried, and I feel like no, it's fine, and I don't worry. Like my granddad actually got an operation. He was getting an aneurysm removed from his aorta, so that was a huge operation, and everyone's really worried that he wouldn't make it through or that there'd be complications. But I was never worried, even though I should have been. But I never was scared or worried. And then in the end, he was okay. So, but you know, I think pretty much like everyone listens to school after. But yeah, so that those are pretty much our paranormal experiences.
Some of them anyway, but basically we just want to wrap up this video, and we'll make another one and talk in more depth about it if any of you, well, first of all, would like to hear it, and second of all, if you have any information about it, or if you have any similar experiences, or
yeah,
if
like
you can
tell us about anything you've experienced, or I mean, if you believe it at all. Like I know I do some creepy pastas on this channel, and some people like it, some people hate it. So I know this video will probably be the same. Some people will like it, some people will hate it. So, I mean, just let me know if you want more videos like this, or if you've had the same experiences, if you know anything about it. And let me know if you want my sister to be in any more videos, because we can make more videos too. So,
and please don't tell us we're crazy, because
someone's probably going to tell us we're crazy on YouTube.
Because I know, but like we are so logical. We, as you said, we've gone through every logical situation or explanation. I suppose how we get through it at all is by brushing it off. But seriously, if it happened to you, and if you had to stay in this house, and if you had to listen to all of those noises, I know that you'd, probably maybe freaked out as well. But just if you have any thoughts on it, please let us know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that's the end of this video. And I don't know if it was relaxing, or I don't even know what the sound quality is, but I'm going to throw it up anyway for the sake of it.
I'm sorry we don't like it.
Yeah, but
thanks for listening.
Yeah, let us know if you want me to make more videos like this, or if you want me to completely stop, or if you want more videos with my sister. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this, and sweet dreams.
Thanks, bye.